Hey everybody, this is Chris, and today we're doing something a little different. I'm going to start doing a HUBSAN ZINO weekly update, and it's pretty applicable because it seems like something new every week is worth discussing with the HUBSAN ZINO. So that's what we're going to do, and there's pros and there's cons in this weekly update, and I'm not strictly just bashing the HUBSAN products or the Zino itself. If I were doing that, that's all you would see from me. That's it. You wouldn't see any help content. You wouldn't see any how-to videos. You would just see me on a rant constantly about HUBSAN and never saying anything positive. I'm only saying what's deserved, and the HUBSAN Zino's not made the mark yet. So let's go ahead and start with the weekly update for this week. Some of the stuff's not new this week, but since I don't know if I've fully talked about it, but you have the new app. The latest app gives you imperial measurement. That's great. So the fact that I can switch over to have miles per hour instead of meters per minute, and I can have feet instead of meters, I love that. So HUBSAN, you did a good job on that. I'm going to give you a thumbs up on the app. The app is still not compatible with a lot of devices. At least that's what I think a lot of the disconnect issues are. I'm starting to collect enough data of what people are using and who's not having disconnect problems and who is. I really do think it's device related, and that's where HUBSAN needs to figure that out. That's a big problem you need to figure out, HUBSAN. And then the other thing is we have an let's go to the camera. We have camera updates. Every camera update so far has been up better. They've improved with every single update. And I suspect only because of through messaging with people at HUBSAN and through reading some of their comments, I suspect they have a third-party person doing the camera firmware. And I'm not downing that one bit. Good job. Please use a third party. If that's what it takes to improve things, use a third party. So the camera itself has been better. It's gotten better with every update. We still have the issue with the gimbal pointing off in the not straight center direction like it should. So hopefully that's something that you can get resolved with a gimbal update. But most of all is the flight control. With that firmware update recent of 1.0.47, it did resolve the issue of when you lift off, the quad stays, where before you'd lift off and then you had the Zino drop, and you had to throttle up to make sure it stayed up until it hovered. It would only do that at the very beginning. That's something that's been fixed, but the rest of the firmware became more unstable. So if you have 4.7 in your quad, go back to 4.6. 4.7 is not worth the risk. So 1.0.46 is where you should be right now. That's just my recommendation. The other thing is, I see HUBSAN's response to people that are having problems, and I spoke about this in my other video, my little fake news video. If you're flying over top of a tree and you turn left and it hits that tree, that's pilot error is basically what they're saying, because they're telling you you should not be flying there. You should be flying in an open field. So I don't want to fly in an open field like a park and sit there and video people walking their dogs or walking around the track for exercise. I want to fly over the trees. I live in the mountains. I have a lot of tall trees. That's where I want to fly. I like to fly over top of trees, shoot down on them, especially in the fall or even in the spring and summer when things are nice and green and you get a good quality camera, making everything just look really nice and crisp. People like to fly over top of water, creeks, rivers, mountain cliffs and things like that. You're telling them, no, don't do that. That's not how you're supposed to fly. That's just making up excuses for the problem you have at hand, and that's the fact that this thing is not stable. It's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's supposed to fly straight towards people. It's not doing that, or not towards people. Sorry. It's supposed to fly, right now it's flying straight towards you people, but it's supposed to fly perfectly straight. It's not doing that. The camera is not pointing perfectly straight. It's not doing that. It loses altitude when you turn left. It raises in altitude when you're turning right. So to fix this, you're telling people to fly in a wide open park. That is just telling them it's their fault, basically. That's the way I take it. Somebody crashes their Zino into the top of a tree because they made a left-hand turn while they were over that tree and they hit the tops of the trees and it crashed. And you're telling them that's pilot error. No, the quad should be able to fly over top of trees, and that's that. Underneath trees, I don't so much recommend because you got your GPS signal and you're going to lose that. And there you have a connection issue. And also, it's a signal. The less signal you have, the worse this is gonna respond for you. So that's pretty much it with the HUBSAN ZINO. Again, I am not trying to bash HUBSAN. I'm not trying to bash the Zino. When we have something that's worth talking about, that is a positive, I will by all means praise it. The camera, I'm praising it. Good job. You're doing a great job with the camera. I think if you're at a point right now where you can stop, just stop and focus on flight control. The other issue is the Wi-Fi burnout. I know enough people now that have had their modules burn out and nothing's getting done. HUBSAN says that there is no part available for that. We have no flight control or no main motherboard, whatever you want to call it, to send you as a part. So you have to send it in for service. Well, if they don't have that available as a part, how are they going to fix it if you send it in for service? It's going to sit on a shelf collecting dust, I guess, until they get control boards and replace them. So at this point, HUBSAN, you should just be replacing the people's quads that have burned out Wi-Fi boards. And guys, those of you who are getting the runaround, HUBSAN's asking you a ton of questions and making it exhausting. A lot of it is valid. They need to ask you certain questions. They need certain proof. I totally understand that on HUBSAN's part, but they're overdoing it with how they ask question after question after question. They delay things week after week until you give up. That's what they want you to do. They want you to give up, and then they don't have to deal with it. It's not their problem anymore. So stick to your guns. Tell them you want this replaced and send it in, and it's going to cost you the shipping. So I'm getting an error. Hopefully my I might be breaking up with my camera. I don't know why. But stick to your guns on it. That's pretty much all I have to say for this week's update. Again, good job on the camera. Good job with the app, somewhat. And bad job with the FC. And that's it. Everybody out there freezing, stay warm, keep the fires burning, and happy flying whenever it gets warm. Take care.